Hello there. Good evening and welcome. From the nation's federal capital city, my name is Adegboyega Arogbodo, and this is Abuja Dispatch. Like we tell you every week on this program, this is a platform that is created to relive to your living rooms those events and issues, and it is those characters that have shaped the entire landscape of the federal capital city, Abuja, in the outgoing week. Let's start off with those stories that made up our news headlines in the last 7 days.
President Bola Tinubu says no nation can develop its potentials without encouraging scientific-based researches aimed at providing solutions to emerging societal challenges. To this end, the president hinted that his administration is leaving no stone unturned towards partnering with relevant stakeholders through related government ministries, departments, and agencies. Mr. President was of these views while speaking immediately was conferred with the Grand Patron of Science by the Nigerian Academy of Science. The president of the Nigeria Academy of Science, Professor Ekanem Ikpe Braid, enumerated several areas of intervention and relevance that the Academy has been involved in since its inception in 1977. Minister of Finance and the Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, has blamed the current inflation in the country on 8 years of printing money without matching it with productivity by former President Muhammadu Buhari. Edun, who disclosed this on Wednesday during an interface with the Senate Committee on Finance, said during the period the printing of naira in trillions was carried out without matching it with productivity. The finance minister reiterated the resolve of the federal government to audit the 22.7 trillion ways and means advance under President Buhari's regime. President Bola Tinubu has executed policy directives to improve the investment climate and position Nigeria as the preferred investment destination for the oil and gas sector in Africa. Following extensive engagements, the president has initiated the amendment of primary legislation to introduce fiscal incentives for oil and gas projects, reduce contracting costs and timelines, and promote cost efficiency in local content requirements. Recognizing the urgency to accelerate investment, the president has directed the introduction of fiscal incentives for non-associated gas, midstream and deep water development, streamlining of contracting process to compress the contracting cycle to 6 months, the application of the local content requirement without hindering investment or the cost competitiveness. The Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Abubakar Kyari, has attributed the present nationwide food crisis and the hike in prices to the smuggling of food across Nigerian borders and the Naira redesign policy. Kyari stated this in Abuja while appearing in a sectoral debate organized by the House of Representatives. He also identified flooding, which destroyed farmland across the country, was another impediment to food security, while also disclosing that the president has directed the ministry and all those responsible to do everything possible to mitigate the sufferings of Nigerians by ensuring enough grains are made available to the people.
Welcome back. Many have continued to postulate that accountability in governance can only be achieved through openness and transparency. This is the basis of our discourse in our next segment, Split Views. Stay with us. Welcome to the Split Views segments of our program, Abuja Dispatch. And on Split Views tonight, we have with us a public affairs analyst and social commentator, Mr. Fifen Festus. You're welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to be here once again.
I must say it's always a pleasure to have you on our platforms. To the topic of the day, openness in governance. To you personally, what will you call, or how will you describe openness in governance or transparency, as it were? How will you, place it in our system today?
There is this notion that a government is about secrets. and you have a lot of people talking about the oath of secrecy and some other things. Yeah. But if you are ruling, governing, administratively heading a people, a nation, a group, openness to a very large extent helps you. It helps you to move them from the level of talking to you from afar to the level of empathy, where they begin to understand what you are going through as a person. I've had situations growing up where my father will come to us straight and tell us that, listen, I know this is what you need for school, but as it is right now, I don't have that kind of money. You can give me like 3-4 days, I'll see what I can do. So when you are going back to school at that particular time, you are not looking at your father as a wicked man. Because if your father creates an impression that I have this money, what you have in your mind is that this man is a wicked man. He has this money and he's not giving it to me. So in governance, we are not saying that you should bring out information that will cause instability and instability in the system, but there should be a degree of openness. And when the people that you lead, the people that will govern, they will not be able to think and put themselves in your position, and some of them can even come up with advices and solutions that will take you out of that kind of situation that you think you are in. So openness in governance is a very good thing. It helps the leader and the led to be on the same page to create an enabling environment for the nation, the states, the group to move forward.
Now, in April 2023, there was this Agora policy report, which was titled Imperative of Strengthening Nigeria's Transparency and Accountability Measures. That report identified corruption induced by the absence of transparency and accountability, as the greatest and the most troubling challenge in Nigeria's ability to realize its huge developmental potentials. Now, how will you link the lack of openness in some quarters to the development or the increase in corruption cases?
There is this group, I wouldn't want to mention their name now, but what they do is whenever the National Assembly is passing a budget, they make the budget known. They tell you about what is due to your constituency or whatever. So there was a particular month that they send me mails regularly. So there was this discovery that there was a budget for solar light system, solar borehole system for water production, and some other things. Funny enough, the place that it was supposed to be sited is at the backyard of our family compound in the village. So what happened when immediately I saw that, I reached out to a few people. I said, there is this particular project that is supposed to be sited in this place. You please help me go there and find out how far the project has gone, because from what I'm seeing in the books here, the project is about 60% gone. And somebody went there and told me that as far as they are concerned, the place is still like, let me use the word carefully now, a forest, that nothing is happening there. So we have a platform in the local government that we all, those of us that are sons and daughters in diaspora, we comment. So I went there quickly and I said, this project is supposed to be in so place. Why is the project not there? And the person representing us now quickly answered and said, actually, we are working on how to make it happen and a few other things. But because we all knew what was happening, that was when, it was after that my intervention that they started clearing the place. It was even later I realized that there were even some transformers and some other things that the person had carried to his own part of the village to take care of himself. Meanwhile, the federal government make provision for a particular part of the community, particular part of the local government to enjoy that. If that thing was not made public, there's no way they would have been able to enjoy. So looking at corruption, if that was allowed to go, that would have been corruption on its own. So because somebody made it public to me, and I also kind of blew whistle, if that is the word we will use, the dividend of democracy and governance had to get to the people. So a lot of people do some things in governance and they go free with it because nobody will hear about it. And if you don't hear about it, it gives room for corruption to thrive. So if you know that whatever you are doing now as a public office holder is going to be in the public domain and people will judge you or rate you based on what you have done, I can tell you very sure that it will reduce the level of corruption and the level of hanky-panky in governance, because whatever you do will be in public glare.
But again, look at it from economy or security angle. Don't you think that there should be some limitations when it comes to openness? and transparency, as it were.
The word is not actually transparency and openness. What makes God God is because we don't know everything about God. If we know everything about God today, we will fail to be God. And if you know what will happen to you tomorrow, you can decide to do a lot of things tomorrow or not to do. I don't want to use the word secrecy. It's actually withholding of information from those that should know and those that should not know. Because it's not everybody that can handle, especially when it comes to security and some financial implications. For example, something is going to happen to a bank. The government is working underground to make sure that this thing is settled so that it does not happen to the people. If an official of the government just goes out to say, by tomorrow bank XYZ is going to close down, you know the panic and whatever it will cause in the society. Those are not the ones. There's always an exception to every rule. So we are not saying that you must come out and tell us, hey, hello gentlemen, today I want to go to do this or do that. No. But there's a level of transparency that can be adjudged to be transparency. And so there's a level of inclusion of the people, and they will know that no, this one is not for the poor. Even as fathers, as mothers, as bosses in the office, we do them. If they don't need to know, don't tell them, especially when it does not have any direct effect on them. So governance is not just about spilling everything, but make sure that you release the level of information that the public can manage, and especially when it has to do with their well-being.
And in actual fact, if, for example, if the government announces today that there will be an increment in salary of workers, you know what will happen in the market?
Everything will just go. You know?
And even security-wise, if for example, because I know most times when we interface with all these military officers on the state of security, there are certain information they withhold. You know, and people will be wondering, tell us what you are doing, you know, to combat banditry. Tell us what you are doing, but they will not want to give us a strategy.
They won't tell you because the world is a global village today, and with the help of technology, the armed robbers are still watching, the terrorists are still watching, the people that these programs and strategies have to defeat, they are watching. So if you say it, then it doesn't make any effect. It doesn't have any effect on the people again. And really when it comes to security, when it comes to some things in the economy, you do it to protect the sanity of the people. For example, you know what happened not too long ago with the recent AFCON that was just concluded. Some people fainted because of the turnout of things and some other issues. So sometimes the information that you give will end up causing more damage than what you were trying to prevent. So government knows where to draw the line, what to give out and not what to give out, especially those ones that will have adverse effect on the people. But overall, transparency is not judged in this 100%. Because you know sometimes all of us say, tell me the truth, tell me the truth. How many of us can actually handle the truth? We can't handle the truth, but tell me the level of truth that at least I will say where is fair. And once people know that the government will tell us what they are doing and they will tell us in real time, they will trust you more and they will say, don't worry, don't worry. When people are bringing fake news and other terrible news, they say, don't worry. We trust our governor, we trust our president, we trust our chairman, we trust our representative. They will tell us the truth.
Now, as we are wrapping up, recently it was announced in UK that the king has cancer. Now, the question somebody could send to me was like, can you people write this as a headline in Nigerian media? And I told him that, well, it depends. If the people concerned can reveal such information to us. Now, how will you describe the state of the Freedom of Information Bill right now? I mean, is it still working? That freedom of information, as it were, can we still get the needed information from the best quarters in governance?
Thank you very much. That happened in the UK because of two things. One, the people there, the populace now, the citizens, their level of exposure and their level of the way they relate to things is different. If something like that happens in Nigeria, I can assure you that the stock exchange will be affected immediately. A lot of businesses will be affected immediately because we have strong individuals in this country and not necessarily strong institutions. So that is why that kind of a panic is not what we can take here until we are able to build our people to the level where they relate to those information in isolation and not tying it to other things. Now, talking about the Freedom of Information Act, as it were, because it's now an act of parliament, you realize that tying it to your first question that you ask, secrecy and corruption. This one is me re-echoing what the public feels about governance, that there's so much corruption in governance that if they open up to you about what is happening there, it will block some things that some people want to benefit from. Because if you look at Nigeria as it is today, the government directly or indirectly is the highest employer of labor. So, and this highest employer of labor carries with it so many unspoken words. So a lot of people don't want to open up. That's number one. Then number two, there is this consciousness too that who are you to ask me? People no longer see themselves, public office holders no longer see themselves as they owe the public accountability to be able to account to them how you are running your affairs. Some of them is usually a servant-leader relationship that they try to put up. Averagely, if you look at organization, even as far as to social clubs and some other things, the chairman, the president, or whoever is that is manning the number one position is so powerful that when you question him, he sees it as, how dare you do this, how dare you do that. So the Freedom of Information Act, as it were, is not doing what we're expecting it to do because it is still carrying this mindset of who are they to question me what I'm doing in my office.
Even some people will say that maybe you are representing the opposition.
Yeah, very well. There are some questions that we ask. They will tell you that this one is a sponsored question. This one is from opposition. This one is from this. But they have all forgotten that we are first humans. We are first Nigerians before we started joining political parties or those groups that we belong to that are saying one thing or the other. So the Freedom of Information Act is not doing as much as it should do because the mindset of an average public office holder, not all of them, is that I don't answer to you. You were not the one that appointed me. So it is the one that appointed me that should ask me questions and not you. So they react to you. Even when do you know how long it will take you for you to even, if you write the letter, in another 2 years, you will not get any response. People will just not answer you. So it's not doing what it's supposed to do. But I also feel that we are better compared to where we are coming from. And it can always get better if we keep doing it.
It's always a pleasure having you in our studios, and I know that, anytime you call again, you should always respond.
Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to be here talking to Nigerians, and it gives us joy that one day, with what you are doing with ABUJA Dispatch, Nigeria will be a better place, and you will beat your chest that you are part of those that are shaping Nigeria positively.
Our guest tonight has been a public affairs analyst and social commentator, Comrade Festus Fifen. Thank you for your time, sir.
It's a pleasure.
Welcome to the Street Talk segment on ABUJA Dispatch. This week, we'll take a look at domestication of the dollar in the Nigerian economy. Nigeria depends solely on the importation of food, services, and other machineries, and this is affecting the Nigerian economy significantly. Let's speak to Nigerians and hear what they have to say about this. I am Ayodele Ibrahim. Stay tuned.
Yes, it's possible. It's possible in a serious way because the population of masses of Nigeria, they are not using dollars. Dollars is for those our top politicians and senior people in the country. It's not for us. In a serious note, a good example, they are selling pure water 600 naira. Is it dollar that is affecting the leather they are using to produce pure water, or is dollars that is affecting the water? No. To be frank with ourselves, we don't need dollars in our country. We don't need it. If there's anything they are producing in outside there, Nigeria should go there and bargain and put this in order before they bring it here. Their dollars no need to affect our naira in a serious note. So there's no even, we don't have much explanation on it. So please, we are begging from president down to the local government chairman, they should they should stop their interest from the dollars. so that they should not put us in this hardship situation.
Why don't we trade with our currency, the naira, in everything we do? Now, our leaders and others who traded on the dollars, some of them hoarded this currency, that is dollars. They purchased dollars with the naira with the hope of gaining in the future. Then they hoard. At the end of the day, they think affect the economy. Virtually everything we are buying in this country is imported from outside. We depend on that. And now that you've hoarded the currency and those who imported their goods now hike the cost of their goods, then you are paying higher. You find out that you are not as sensible as you thought you would be. So to me, the solution to this country's economy is for us to domesticate everything we have and do. If I'm producing things in this country, let me see how I will take what we have in the country to make the production and make it of quality.
The government are not working on what they are supposed to work on. Based on the rice, the pepper, and things, everyone is just using the advantage of the dollars to make the price to increase everything. But what I would just say to the government is just that they should just stick to what they're supposed to work on, in which if you are not able to export things out, the dollar will not be increasing. I think when we have things we are exporting now, at least the dollar will not be up to that level. So I will urge the government to work on what they're supposed to work on so that everyone will be able to be in peace in the province.
It's his responsibility to carry everybody along, including the CBN governor. He's supposed to sit down with him and talk about this increasement of dollars every day. We are suffering, people are suffering, honestly speaking, because everybody now is increasing his own distance, even traders that they are not using dollars. So if it is possible, I'm calling Mr. President, he should please, masses are suffering. This thing is getting too much every day, because this dollar, let us, if you go to America, we can use dollar, or outside country, we can use dollar. But in Nigeria, we're supposed to use our own money, our own currency.
Servicing external debt strengthens the dollar and makes naira fall. It even makes it more expensive as critical resources are diverted from infrastructure. You can connect with us on all our social media platforms at Lagos Television and at LTV Socials. I am Ayodele Ibrahim. The conversation continues on Abuja Dispatch.
The gain is to reduce cost of governance and also to reduce inefficiency. If about 2, 3 are doing almost the same job, why can't you put this thing together? The report is the best thing that can happen to us in the country now. But the only thing is that and I think I listen to the minister and also raising the fear of people that this will not lead to unemployment. We don't want people to lose their job because we want to match ministry. We want to reduce costs, no doubt. At the same time, it's a critical time. You don't want anybody to lose job. I only want to appeal to Nigerians. You voted the right person in, and I know that there is nobody will be able to do it better than what he's doing. But we are not saying it's a perfect person. We are not saying we are getting it right. There is room for improvement. And that's why we continue to listen to you every now and then. The only thing I can give to this president is we have a listening president.
That is our package tonight on Abuja Dispatch. And for further information, comments, and suggestions, you can reach us out on any of our social media handles. Thank you for sharing your precious moments with us tonight on Abuja Dispatch. A week from now, we'll bring you another refreshing episode. Same time, same station. Adegboyega Arogbodo is my name. Have a good night.